I'm going to take things over to another AFC North matchup, Steelers-Browns. We mentioned that if the Ravens do lose this game, somehow, some way, you see a Kenny Pickett, Dorian Thompson-Robinson battle for first place in a division with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Remember the first time they played, the Steelers won 26-22, 2 defensive touchdowns, 3 turnovers on the day for Deshaun Watson, who we said at the top of the show is out for the season with the broken shoulder. And the Steelers offense is just, they're an amazing team this year. They really do remind me in some ways of the Vikings last season. Vikings much more explosive, but still those, you've been outgained.
What do you mean by amazing?
You've been outgained.
Are we amazing?
You are amazing because you've been outgained in all 9 of your games this year. You don't have 400 yards in a single game, but you keep finding a way. You take care of the football really well. And at the end of the game, Kenny Pickett is playing well in the fourth quarter. And whether it's him making a play, George Pickens, or the defense, you guys find ways to win, which is impressive in its own right. And it usually comes back to bite you in the playoffs. But right now, it's getting the job done. And it seems that you finally embraced Jaylen Warren, too. That should help because he's now officially the starter. Awesome. I believe he ran out with the starters last week.
Well, technically,
still kind of a split.
Technically, Tomlin said Najee's a starter.
Oh, did he say that?
Warren's his co-starter.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what he said. Yeah, so.
But still, they're both getting carries. I would say in this one here, DTR really makes me doubt what Cleveland can do a little bit because in his one start against Baltimore, he did not look particularly good. Not that PJ Walker's lit the world on fire, but I'm convinced enough from the Browns' performances at home. I'm just looking here. They've throttled the bad offenses in their building, 24-3 against the Bengals with a hurt Burrow, 27-3 versus the Titans, 27-0 versus Arizona. Your offense doesn't really scare me. So I'm leaning Cleveland with DTR. But again, you guys are a blue sky franchise. You find ways. Are you comfortable going into Cleveland?
Well, no, I'm not. It's going to be, I'd probably lean Cleveland too. Because that first.
You're allowed to say that.
I'm just being honest, man. I'm being honest. It's unfortunate. I'll bet the Steelers, but with a grain of salt.
That's probably betting here.
But you were talking about that first game these two teams played, right? And we talked before this off air. Deshaun Watson wasn't good in that game. And it took 2 defensive touchdowns for the Steelers to win. I thought they had no chance to win that game. The Cleveland looked like the better team. I think this comes down to who can create more turnovers. I think it's a field position.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I think it's a field position battle. And that's why I lean with the Steelers. That's why I'll take the Steelers in this matchup. I do think in terms of who can get more turnovers and start on the opponent's side of the field more is probably us. I think we can turn over DTR, your rookie quarterback. We do a good job of taking care of the football. It's not the worst thing in the world if we get to the midfield and punt and give them a long field. I think
this could be like a 13-10 game.
That's what
easily.
This game is. And it's so tough going on the road. Cleveland's a tough place to play. But I'll take us in a close, ugly, gritty game. I think we force more turnovers in this
Ziggy,
game.
I think we're both in agreement here, Jack and I, that it'll be like a 3-point, 3 to 7, 6-point game. Yeah. Which side do you come down on?
One of those offenses with rushing yards is giving up 4.5 yards a carry, which is 5th worst in the NFL. One of them is not. The Steelers can't stop the run. And when you're going up against this Browns team, that is dangerous. Because, they can't throw the football, more or less. That's right. But they can run. They've got a good offensive line. Stefanski is a good run scheme, if nothing else. They will pound you on the ground, and then the defense will pound you right back.
Pause.
That's just how it goes with this team.
It's going to feel pretty damn good.
And look.
Finally, I get one.
What makes me excited about this game, we're finally hitting the point in the season where single games have enormous playoff implications. Right? Again, talking about the playoff projections I looked at earlier. Right? If the Browns and Steelers win, whichever team wins has over an 80% chance of making the playoffs per Timo Risk at PFF. Whichever loses has under a 50% chance.
You hear how natural that came off Ziggy's mouth right there?
Yes.
Per PFF. I don't even know who you said at PFF.
Timo Risk. He's clearly their best data guy. Set that aside, but that's a huge variance, right? We're talking extremely likely versus coin flip. So again, you love these AFC North games already because these teams come in with so much history and ready to play. And it's always a physical game. And then you add in that both of them are fighting for a playoff spot, and this enormously affects their odds. I mean, they're fighting for the division.
Yeah,
Both of them, as you guys said.
Of AFC North football.
I mean, this could be a game where it's like, I could see it being close late. The stadium's going nuts. And like Pickett fumble. It's like something like that.
No, so it'll come down to something in the fourth quarter where there's a huge turnover and the other team is set up for a game-winning field goal.
I think the Steelers, with the Browns having DTR, I think the Steelers are the slightly better team right now as a whole. But the Browns being at home in this game, it's going to be
Watson, I thought you were screwed.
It's going to be a coin.
I actually thought Cleveland had turned the corner.
Watson, I would have picked against us in this game, yeah.
Give me the team with the 6th best run defense, not the 6th worst run defense. I think it's that simple, this game.
Could be a Nick Chubb avenge game for the Browns as well.
What?
It's an avenge game because they're going to offend them taking out Nick Chubb.
I thought you said revenge game.
No, avenge. I was trying to be clever,
okay.
And now he's going to get flamed in the comments. Didn't you know Nick Chubb's been out all season? You guys even watch the games?
Avenge.
You just look at
They're
stats.
avenging
You just
Nick
look at
Chubb.
stats.
Avenging. That is
well, I mean, shoot,
word,
they've
right?
got. Have you seen this Browns running offense? They basically assemble the Infinity Gauntlet, right? Like you've got Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, Harrison Bryant sometimes gets in there for a little bit of running. You know, against the Cardinals, Pierre Strong got some snaps. So, like, they are building the Dollar Tree Infinity Gauntlet.
The Dollar Tree Infinity Gauntlet in Cleveland. Yeah, and they'll avenge Nick Chubb.